When we were thinking about choosing our 2022 honorees, I already had a special honoree in mind, Dr. Karen Hammerman. Over the past 8 years, Karen has distinguished herself through her involvement in 2 of our key events. During that time, I've had the opportunity to see how Karen dedicates herself to Chesed. We know that anything that Karen undertakes will be done with attention to detail and a commitment to excellence. Karen joined our Children's Champion Young Couples Committee in 2014 and then co-chaired the Great Neck Committee for 4 years. During all those years, she helped get many of her friends involved in supporting Shaare Zedek's NICU and Wilf Children's Hospital. I knew that whenever I called Karen, she would take her role seriously in order to help us purchase incubators, ER ultrasounds, and other vital equipment needed at Shaare Zedek. In addition, we have also been fortunate to have Karen's involvement in Health Day as a committee member for many years and as a Great Neck Community co-chair, even with her busy practice as a dermatologist and her involvement in other community cheseds. She has served on the board of the Young Israel of Great Neck and is currently chairperson of the Early Childhood Board at the North Shore Hebrew Academy and is active in Kolel Chabad. It is amazing that Karen finds the time to do all of this chesed while being devoted to her family and practicing at Schweiger Dermatology in Garden City. Karen is also on the faculty at Mount Sinai Medical Center and has been listed in the New York Times Magazine as a super doctor numerous times and is a Castle Connolly top dermatologist. Not only does she do it all, but she does it with style and elegance. We know that Karen's love of Israel and her medical profession was influenced and nurtured by her parents, Dr. Helen Flammerbaum and Dr. Howie Zimmerman, as well as by her grandparents, who were truly great role models. Karen understands the importance of Shaare Zedek's role in treating and saving lives in Israel, and we are very grateful for her involvement and dedication. We honor Karen today, and we congratulate her husband, Jason, and her children, James, William, Brody, and Charlotte, or Charlie, and her entire family. As it says in Mishlei, Rodef tzedakah v'chesed yimsa chayim tzedakah v'chavod. One who pursues charity and good deeds will find long life, charity, and distinction. Karen, please come up to accept your special Chesed Award, which is handmade by the Israeli artist Noah Atayas. The Chesed Award reads in honor of Dr. Karen Hammerman for her dedication, leadership, and commitment to Shaare Zedek Medical Center in Jerusalem, May 11, 2022, 10th of ER, 5782.
Growing up, I always knew what that random knock at the door meant. It meant someone in Great Neck needed the services of my mom, the dermatologist, or my dad, the gastroenterologist. Whether I was at home or in shul watching a mother pull down her kid's diaper, medicine permeated my life. My family was simply the product of our Holocaust-surviving grandparents' mandate. You could be anything you want as long as it is either a doctor or a lawyer. But medicine wasn't the only passion for the Zimmerman-Flammenbaum family. For some families it was sports, for others it was art or music. For us it was community service and Israel. Our childhood activities centered around the Sunday Soviet Jewry Walkathon, the Israeli Day Parade, a pro-Israel rally at the UN, UJA, or various other community fundraisers. So when I returned to Great Neck, now married with my own family, it was only natural for me to become involved with Shari Tzedek. When Sharon Goldwyn approached me shortly after moving in to serve on the luncheon committee, I immediately said yes. My mother had been a longtime sponsor of the annual luncheon, and my parents had always been very supportive of the organization. But when she called me and asked me to be the honoree at this year's luncheon, my first reaction was, are you sure you have the right person? Perhaps if the request came from Dress for Success or Vogue magazine, that would have been more appropriate. My initial response was to decline, since I really don't deserve such an honor. But then I thought about my grandparents, who came to the United States as immigrants from war-torn Europe and Holocaust survivors, the ones who made us doctors and lawyers. I recently became aware of the Arleston Archives, the world's largest archive on victims and survivors of the Nazi regime. If you do an online search of my grandparents' names, you can see their original papers from the displaced persons camps they went to after the war and prior to emigrating to the United States. My maternal grandparents, Reuben Flammenbaum, Auschwitz Tattoo ID number 46743, and Dora Flammenbaum, Auschwitz Tattoo ID number 32908, went to the Feldafing DP camp in Germany. My paternal grandparents, Zalman and Genya Zimmerman, went to the Fehrenwald DP camp in Germany. In their papers, their original destination was Palestine. We were supposed to go to Israel. And then there was another document dated several months later with the United States as their new destination. We had always been told if not for our grandmothers, we would have been Israelis. They wanted to come to the Golden Medina, the land whose streets were paved with gold, the United States of America. But Reuben and Zalman wanted Israel. As is usually the case, the wives won. And today we are here at the Shari Tzedek luncheon in Great Neck. But our family has come full circle. My brother Andrew the doctor has made Aliyah, and here I am, the granddaughter whose grandparents were supposed to be in Israel, being honored by one of the most premier hospitals in Israel. As we learn in Mishlei, Ateret Zakenim B'nei Banim V'Tiferet Banim Avutam. Grandchildren are the crown of the elderly, and the glory of children is their ancestors. How proud would my grandparents, and especially my grandfathers, be today? And so I said yes. I want to thank my role models, my parents, Helen and Howard Zimmerman, for instilling me with the values and compassion needed to be a good physician and a good person with a deep love of Israel. I also want to thank Sharon Goldwyn and the entire committee, including my sister Erica, the lawyer, for all the hard work they did to make this luncheon a great success. My mother-in-law Vivian Hammerman and my sister-in-law Esther for making the trip from Hollywood, Florida. Rebbitzin Abby Lerner, it's so nice to see you here all the way from Israel. All my friends and relatives who took the time out from their busy schedules to be here today. And of course my husband Jason, who is so supportive of everything I do and always by my side. Mazel tov to my co-honoree Tony Neyowitz. It is an honor to share this special day with you in support of Shari Tzedek Medical Center. Shari Tzedek is known as the hospital with the heart. It receives no funds from the Israeli government and relies solely on donations from people like you. The funds raised at this luncheon will go to support a much-needed new cancer center. So I hope everyone enjoys themselves and gives generously, and thank you all for coming.